come death, the destroyer of worlds.
As you say.
A new world order.
New world order.
A new world order.
The new world order.
A new world order.
A new world order.
The new world order.
New world order. That order and progress can only come when individuals surrender their rights to an all-powerful sovereign.
When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order.
Yo. What is up? It's your boy Drew. Checking out that Drew World Order Live 2025. I did this a little bit on the last stream, but I want to dive a little deeper here tonight. I wanted to look into this. This will definitely become a conspiracy. I think it's kind of percolating right now. It's a little bit out there. Give it like another week, and this will be a mainstream conspiracy. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to make like a prepared video and get all the pieces together. I just don't have the time in my life to do that. As much as I was trying, I got to run and check on the kids and this and that. But we can go through some of the stuff I was looking at tonight, because I guarantee you this will be a mainstream conspiracy within 2 weeks. Maybe you give it like one more week even. It's already out there. But shout out to the chat. Shout out to all my people that are here. Is my thing buffering? Oh, my thing's buffering. Hold on. Like buffering bad. Give me 1 second. Sorry, this thing's like dropping mad frames. I'm trying to see if I can flush this out. Yo, what's up, EBT? Shout out to the chat. I threw down 5 gifted memberships there. I guess each time I stream, I can throw out 5 gifted, or 10 a month. So twice a month, I can throw out up 5 gifted memberships. And if anyone's thinking about being a member, it's only $1 a month. You get all the archives. Eventually, I'd like to get to where maybe the first half of the stream is everyone's chat, in the second half of the stream it's members only, to try to force the people to do the gifted memberships or whatever. But let's go, I guess, because I do have to work in the morning. That's why I have to just shut it down. I have to just kind of shit out the information I have now and pick it up another day, I guess. I feel like if I'm ahead of the curve of this, I could have really got some views, but there's not enough time in the day for me. And I am actively trying to figure out a way to like get my hours down at work so I can have more time to work on this, because I feel like I could make money on this. If Jake the Awake is making money on here, if you missed it, Jake the Asshole changed his name to Jake the Awake. The funniest comedian on all the world. I could never do that. Like put my face like big screen and just be like, I don't know, totally not me, but that's his thing, so good for him. What's up, Big Drink Tea? All right, man, where do we start? Hulk Hogan, Scientology. Let's start here while people are still rolling in here real quick. I thought this was super crazy. So Hulk has a, oops, let's bring up the screen. Hulk has a estate in Clearwater, which is Tampa Bay. And also he has one of his like Hogan's Beach shops or something it's called. Like a little, he has 2 different, I think that's the name of it, Hogan's Beach Shop or something. And one of them's definitely in Clearwater. And give me 1 second, I just gotta get this on the phone and we're gonna start legitimately. There we go. 34 people in the chat only. Hit the thumbs up from me, y'all. This is cutting edge conspiracy. This is next week's conspiracy for sure. Maybe even a few more days. I'm maybe like 1 or 2 days ahead only. But if I could have had this done prepared, it would have been money. Anyway, Hulk's in Clearwater, big time. Clearwater is a big time Scientology town. Outside, and this is from Tampa Bay Times. This isn't some schizo conspiracy thing here. How Scientology doubled its downtown Clearwater footprint in 3 years. And this one here was written in 2019. Amazing interactive article. Whoever made this is a genius. As you scroll down, it shows you the words and it lights up what you need to see. Scientology came to downtown Clearwater in 1975, bought a hotel, and wrote plans to take control of the city. The church's campus grew slowly over decades. Its members bought property on surrounding blocks. So as you scroll down, it lights up the properties that they began to buy up. Crazy. So I would assume that's from like the 80s to 2017, I guess, is when they really start going balls to the walls buying the property. This is oceanfront property. This is big money shit here. Then in 2017, companies controlled by parishioners began buying retail property at an unprecedented rate. So as I scroll down here, it just continues to light up. It says they doubled the church's footprint in less than 3 years. Now that's pretty significant. The impact is clearest in the heart of downtown. They cordon off this for you to see. Take away the church's footprint, few condo towers, and all buildings owned by the government. Look how little is left. That's it. Then walk down Cleveland Street, downtown's main artery. As you scroll down, it zooms you in. Each little scroll down keeps bringing you closer. And these lights up all the buildings Scientology bought. Leading up to the waterfront, 22 of the first 33 buildings now have ties to Scientology. 22 out of 33. Bam. Big old bam there for you. Crazy. Church of Scientology and companies run by its members spent $103 million over the past 3 years buying up vast sections of downtown Clearwater. They now own most commercial property on every block within walking distance of the waterfront, putting the secretive church firmly in control of the area's future. Most of the sales have not previously been reported. The Tampa Bay Times discovered them by reviewing more than 1,000 deeds and business records, then interviewed more than 90 people to reconstruct the circumstances surrounding the transactions. Even city leaders didn't know the full extent of the purchases until they were shown the maps made by the time. The church, its members, and companies, they now control 185 properties that cover 101 acres in the center of downtown. Half of the properties were bought since January 2017, and this article is written in 2019. So I would assume it's exponential, and even more property has been bought since then. Land grabs started as tensions grew between the church and the Clearwater City Council. Each had proposed major redevelopment projects designed to lure new businesses into empty storefronts that surrounded the city-owned waterfront and the church's spiritual headquarters. Then the council interfered with a land deal that Scientology demanded for its plan. The church stopped communicating with the city almost immediately. A decades-long trickle of purchases by church members turned into a flood. So before and after, Scientology and its companies run by its members have bought 92 properties around the center of downtown. This ain't nothing to EBT. EBT got way more properties than this, bro. EBT's like, yo, 92 properties, 3 years, that's light work, fam. Shout out to the slumlords in the chat. Who's Mark Bunker? Mark Bunker is more of a threat than Hogan will be. Well, I don't think Hogan's a threat. They just killed him for his money. They put a gold digger handler on him and put all the assets in their name, and then they get all the money. And probably future, if there's IPs involved, it's future money. It's just revenue forever to have like a Hulk Hogan museum and this and that. I don't think he was necessarily a threat to out him or anything. 2016 map on the left, 2019 on the right. Okay, and here's where it gets going through this whole article here. All right, we're up to a whopping 32 people in the chat. Wow. Shout out to Jake the Awake. Scientology's survival depends on the preservation of its headquarters in Clearwater. It's said to have 10 million followers, but surveys and accounts from former members suggest there are no more than 30,000 worldwide. The church's influence comes from the estimated $3 billion in cash and assets it's collected from its followers. Clearwater is the center of that revenue stream. Scientologists from across the globe make pilgrimage to the campus called Flag. It's designed not for recruiting new members, but hosting established followers. Campus collects millions each week through fundraising and payments for expensive courses and high-level religious counseling, not offered anywhere else. Visitors are expected to stay in Scientology's hotels and eat at private church restaurants. Flag is run by the church's full-time workforce, the Sea Org, whose members sign billion-year contracts and work around the clock. Defectors said they were paid less than $50 a week. So the Sea Org members, that's what Hulk Hogan's wife is alleged to be, a former Sea Org member. Oh, where's that video I had? Did I close the one video I needed? We covered that last week when I streamed on the Sunday night slop trough. See if I can find that one real quick. Whatever. I'm not going to find that real quick. Hopefully you guys are here every week. Just keep up on it. But his most current wife, Hulk Hogan's most current wife, Sky Daily, her parents are level OT8, whatever that is, like the highest level Scientologist. She was a Sea Org member that's responsible for recruiting and everything. She claims she is no longer a Sea Org member. But however, she married the Hulk. Hulk allegedly took a trip to that main campus and everything and went to meet those people. But now let's get into the good stuff. This is what I want to do the stream about. So Hulk Hogan's estranged daughter which one is it? Hulk Hogan's estranged daughter, Brooke Hogan. You probably seen her from Hogan Knows Best. She went on the Bubba the Love Sponge show. So Bubba the Love Sponge, this was Hulk Hogan's longtime BFF. They were besties. What happened, there was a fallout between them because Bubba had cameras all over his house. Bubba set Hulk Hogan, they did like a hot wife swap or something, and Hogan banged, they're talking about this fat guy here on the top left. Hogan banged this guy's wife. Later, the closed circuit footage was leaked online. So the people went to shake down Hogan and say they had this tape. And they wanted to, like, you know, hold him hostage over the tape, get the money. What's that called? Like, I know it's a shakedown. What's the word I'm looking for? Extort money from him. And apparently, and Brooke Hogan confirms this when she calls in here. This is just 2 days ago or yesterday or 2 days ago. I'm not sure. Yesterday. Brooke calls in to Bubba the Love Sponge. Says, hey, my dad knew you didn't leak the tape. It was his employees, like, stole the footage or something, and then they tried to, like, shake Hogan down because this guy was supposedly Hogan's best friend. He was in Hogan's life. Brooke considers him an uncle. And leading up to Hogan's death, Bubba the Love Sponge is going live saying, hey, Hogan's on death's door. He's about to die. We need to send him some prayers, this and that. And all these other people are saying, this can't be true. Hogan's wife, the Scientologist wife, is saying, he's fine. He's going to kick out, brother. And Bubba Lunch Sponge is like, no, dude, it's like dire. And no one believes him because of the past. And that's also where the N-word tape comes from. That was Hogan alone with this guy having a man-to-man conversation saying, I wish Brooke wasn't dating ends and this and that, right? So all that got leaked. Because they were trying to like shake him down for money. Not this guy, but other people. And that's where Hogan sued Gawker. So before I play this is where the meat and potatoes is, right here with the Brooke Hogan stuff. But before we get there, one more thing. Peter Thiel, anagram the reptile. He's the guy that, because Gawker's the one that released all this stuff. Peter Thiel is the guy that financed Hulk Hogan's lawsuit against Gawker. He ponied up to $10 million for the lawyer's fees and everything like that. Why? Because Gawker outed Peter Thiel as being homosexual. So he holds a grudge. He admits as much in this. He doesn't say it's mainly just because of the homosexuality and all that, but he says Gawker's just bullying people and this and that. This is what he says in this Forbes article. So he openly admits he financed Hulk Hogan. Peter Thiel, the man behind J.D. Vance, who killed the Pope. Don't forget that part. J.D. Vance killed the Pope. So yeah, he committed up to $10 million. Hogan sued Gawker, won $140 million. They agreed to a lot less than that to just pay it out, and Gawker bankrupted because of it, and they're gone. So they wiped that one off the board. Like a hard-hitting investigative journalist thing is just gone because of this lawsuit. Now later on, Bubba the Love Sponge, he knows all the numbers and everything. And apparently Hogan, after it's all said and done, and even Linda, his first wife, got some of this money still. Hogan got $11 million from this. After everything's said and done, lawyers and everything. But basically that's Hogan's tie here to Peter Thiel, to J.D. Vance, to Trump. He almost owed that favor to Vance and Trump to go stump for him. I'm sure he did like Trump, because that's kind of, he's a right-wing kind of dude anyway, so sure it wasn't a big deal for him. All right, so let's get to this now. This is what I want to get into here. Let's see. Hogan died because he ignored doctors' recovery directions after major procedure. Nothing more. Well, that's what they want you to think, brother. Come on, bro. You watching Jake the Awake even? You got to know more than that. You got to. Here's where it gets juicy. Brooke, who's estranged from Hogan for the last few years since he's been married, dating and married this woman, Sky Daly, the Scientologist. This is Hogan's third wife. Hogan dies, and now a few days later, Brooke calls in to Bubba the Love Sponge's show. She drops some bombs. If you read between the lines of what she's saying here with the Scientology connection and everything, I have the time. I downloaded this video. I put it in my editor. I watched it, and every time I wanted something, I put a clip in my editor. And then for some reason, the one in my editor was only 40 minutes long, and this video is over an hour long. I don't know how the hell that happened. But basically, all that work I did was gone, so I just wrote down the timestamps. We're just going to have to go through them real quick. So Brooke calls in, and if you ask me before we get into it, if you ask me Brooke and Bubba have been in communications this whole time. She does seem to genuinely consider him a type of uncle or something, and that would know how he knew the status of Hulk Hogan's health and everything like that. But that's just my own speculation. But let's get into some of her that I thought was super interesting on here, and lends credence to there's possibly some foul play afoot in Hulk Hogan's death with the Scientology connection.
Watching you talk about everything, and you being, however you got your sources, being so right, and me being through 25 surgeries with him, and knowing that man's, health like a roadmap, as I say, it just made, I could tell that you cared, and I could tell that you were worried, and it pisses me off is that, instead of his people around him telling the truth and being able to get people to pray for him and help him, even though I wasn't in contact with him for certain reasons, there are people, around him that, obviously I didn't want to tangle a-holes with, when a moment like this happened, God forbid.
So there's people around him not telling the truth and that she doesn't want to tangle with, she says. And that'll make more sense as we get more into it. But basically the family or the wife is telling his friends, like, he's fine. He's going to, everything's fine. He can't talk because he had a neck fusion and got his vocal cords were clipped. So he's not able to talk right now, which is bullshit. I have that clip up. Let's skip over to that clip right now. When you hear this other guy, this is his boy Eric Bischoff, said he talked to the Hulk, and the Hulk seemed totally fine. A few other people said they talked to him right the day before he died, and he was in high spirits and totally fine.
Same guy. And I texted this because I...
Oops, let me slow it down.
Nixon, all this stuff, struggling. It was just a little more effort than it should have been for him to even talk at that time because his larynx and all this stuff got moved around during surgery. So it was work for him to have a conversation. But he was the same guy. And I texted his, because right before I left, and I knew, he had a nurse there, and I could tell he was getting tired, and I could tell the nurse was starting.
So he said he was able to talk fine. He was like kind of weak. But the wife is telling people he's even unable to talk because his vocal cords got clipped in the surgery. And so she's taking all this time, this little like last week or whatever, while Hulk's dying down, to secure the estate. There's mad money in the estate. She's locking all that estate down. Let's go back here real quick to Brooke Hogan.
Has been so nice to us and just was, really, truly, I watched firsthand. My dad's best friend, Bubba, like you'd run through a burning building for the guy. I would too. I'm sad that, I wasn't part of his life, but, there are bigger forces at hand that I don't think I'm strong enough to, I don't think I have the powers to, go against. So I kind of stepped back, but,
So another kind of damning quote, where she hasn't really got into the Scientology connection yet, but she will. She's saying there's like bigger forces at work here that I don't even want to go against. Like there's shit in play here that like I don't have the time and energy for even though there's a lot of money on the table. She's just like, yo, fuck it, I'm gonna do my own thing. Judy Gatow says he's probably playing some other character on the world stage right now. This weird new girl. No photos of anything. The other girl has photos. She is a longtime Scientologist. Her parents are highly involved in Scientology. She's had 2 other previous marriages. There's court records of her previous marriages. We'll get into some of that. Dr. Dave says satanic powers. She was too weak to fight. Hey, you know what? She just had twins. She just got married. That's what she even admits herself. She's just got a lot to lose now. She's scared. I think she even says that. She admits it. We'll look ahead a little bit more. There's a lot here, man, and that's just this one video alone here.
A fun, happy marriage. And like I said, like me and Jen went.
Right now, she's talking about Hulk Hogan's second wife, Jen, who Brooke and this Bubba guy who was Hulk's best friend, they both agreed Jen was an angel and Jen helped him, his health and his doctors and everything. But right when they got married, that sex tape thing leaked, so I'm sure that made a hardship on the marriage and the strain and everything. So it didn't work out.
Through all the surgeries together, and we'd take shifts. And that's what has me puzzled because, you know, they're saying, oh, he had leukemia. And I'm like, I saw his blood work every time. One doctor, I quote, said, his blood is like a 25-year-old. I mean, he took the most care of his body and his blood. I mean, he was going to an anti-aging specialist. And what also, you know, just being through all the surgeries, you have to do a blood panel before any major surgery. How did nobody catch, you know, a high white blood cell count? That's what bothers me the most, you know? And I'm like, we don't have.
So supposedly, yeah, they say now, just out of nowhere, none of his friends knew, his own family doesn't know. He's been battling leukemia for the past X amount of years or whatever. And Brooke claims to have been right there side by side with the second wife, taking him into every doctor's appointment, handling everything for him, basically. His own personal nurse, basically. And she's never heard of this. She's taken him to other doctors. No doctor's ever mentioned this before. And now all of a sudden, this dude's been battling leukemia for a while now. But that was interesting. No, there's so much in just this one. I gotta cut it short too, though. I can't get into everything here. I'm gonna have to pick and choose.
Anesthesia that's so hard on your body.
It is.
I'm just the no autopsy and the leukemia out of nowhere hits me as BS, you know, because
you never heard that diagnosis before?
She never.
No.
Really?
And I would be surprised that a surgeon would work on somebody with leukemia or somebody that would see a high white blood cell count and not do further investigation first.
Well, you can't put
hardware. The first option is treat.
This guy talking on the bottom middle, he's actually a doctor. This guy on the left, I think, I don't watch this show, but just from this interview, it seems like this guy on the bottom left, he's Bubba's lawyer maybe, or at least a lawyer, and then this guy in the bottom middle here, he is like a board certified physician. This guy on the right, I don't know who he is. He never said anything.
Treat the leukemia.
Well, it's a chronic leukemia, and people usually live 10, 15 years with it. But still, you would think it would be contraindicated to put hardware into someone with an elevated white blood cell count. And if he had that chronic leukemia, his white count should have been elevated.
So they're saying you would have known when you did blood work on him. You would have known he had leukemia, and you would have never did this heart implant thing they did, which I showed on the last stream. I'm just gonna count on everyone watching that. I guess I showed the animation of it and everything. They put a stent in the heart. I think it goes in through your urethra or something, right? Isn't that what they said? They bring it all the way up to your heart. It's like a balloon, and it goes in your heart because it's so calcified. It goes right into the valve of the heart, and they pump it a few times to kind of break the calcification up. And then they put another thing through that same line, and it's like a stent that holds that open for your heart. So this own doctor here is saying, yeah, you would have never done that to a guy with leukemia. Ooh, Brian Metz says blood work like a 25-year-old. Reno? Well, actually, Brooke says later in the thing that their family has a condition called, I can't remember the name now, where you have extremely high iron in your blood. And I was wondering if that's why Hulk looks so damn old when he's like 30 years old. Looks like he's like 50. Maybe that's part of the condition is his actual blood, like the excess iron in his blood. I'm not sure about that. Go to the next one here. Skip ahead just a little bit.
Listen, this is real.
This is where it's at, right? This is where I'm at with it. If I want to bring this into some conspiratorial territory, this is where it would be real easy for something like this to happen and no one to be any wiser to it.
really kabuki. But like, you know, Dan, if you're ported up to do dialysis, like you mentioned yesterday, I mean, anybody can stick anything in that port. And you said there's 50 things that somebody could stick in there to kill you.
Yeah,
And
from
I'm not-
air
Don't
to
even get me
potassium.
going. Don't even get me going. I told my dad.
Bam.
I said, you need to put cameras in your house because I said, if you're dating one of these, you know, biatches could push you down the stairs and, you know, nobody would ever know. So I was the one that told him to put cameras in his house, actually, because after he was done with Jen.
Daniel Luna, big brain Daniel Luna, says maybe he wasn't 30s in the 80s. Maybe, man. He looks old, but when you go to the Hollywood Hogan, which is like 97, 98, he looks way better than the 80s even. Actually a leaner and more ripped. Looks a little younger than he looked in the 80s. Probably the roids, dude. Roids just aging him up. Brian Metz says he's been Elrond. Yeah, crazy. I didn't really realize the power of the Scientology in the Clearwater community. Go a little bit more ahead. 29:05. Let me go more. 30 seconds.
Relationship with Sky.
Back here.
Okay, Baba.
Yes.
What's your relationship with Sky, with Nick, and with Scientology? I think everyone wants to know those three answers.
Here we go. Here's the meat.
Ooh, that's a loaded question.
Meant to be.
Sky was always really nice to me. Her children were darling. And when my dad was like, I don't know about the 3 kids and this and that, I actually told him, I said, you know, if you're not going to get married again, I said, kids can bring new life to situations. I said, just, you know, enjoy them. You know, if she's got sweet kids, you know, just sometimes kids are funny. And, you know, I thought maybe it would bring some, you know, levity to his life and some lightheartedness, you know. And he told me he was never getting married again. So I was like, well, that's not a worry, you know, and she's nice and she's cool. And, you know, I don't really want to go into too much detail about our conversations, but he was saying, you know, she's pushing the marriage thing real hard.
She's pushing the marriage real hard, brother.
And I said, well, Dad, you don't have to do what you don't have to do. You know, I mean, you can, you know, and that's when we had the conversation. And I said, well, why don't you, and he's like, I'm trying to figure out a way, you know, out of this thing, whatever. And I said, well,
just kind of skating over this, but basically what she's saying is like, yeah, the dad was not trying to get married. Hulkamania was not trying to get married to this bitch. And it sounds like he's kind of getting swept up into either the cult. Me personally, I don't think it's necessarily the cult. I think it's more the business ventures that come with these connections. Hulk's a hustler. You saw recently at the end of his life here, the Real American Beer, all of these. He had a bunch of different brand new business ventures. He's got I think it's called Real American Freestyle Wrestling. He's got on like a cable network where it's like Greco-Roman amateur, like college wrestling with his name on it. They were going to try to like introduce characters to that and broadcast that on television. Like many new like business ventures tied to his name. He was thinking about, maybe he even did, I'm not sure. There was talk of Real American Beer buying Hooters. They were going to originally just buy the Hooters brand. Then later it talked to the talks escalated to buying all the Hooters chains and rebranding them or relaunching them. And I'm not sure if that actually went through or not, but that was like a major story that Hooters filed for bankruptcy and all Real American Beer and all that was ready to kind of buy that up and relaunch it. I don't think necessarily I think he knows with these Scientologists, there's major money, there's major deals to be had. Maybe he's just willing to kind of mingle with them to kind of do the deals because he has the name and the money. Scientologists need him. It's like a symbiotic relationship. They need him and his name to get all these deals, and he needs them and their money to kind of facilitate all this. That's personally what I think about it. Because he does claim to be a born-again Christian. You saw him getting baptized. I can pull that up, too, in a minute. But, I mean, that could have been a ruse, too. I'm not above thinking that was a ruse. And he's all in with these people. That's possible. But I don't think you even really have to be 100% all in, like a member of the club, to be making money with them. They can be all hustlers together. But then look what happened to him, right? Like, that's what happens when you run with that type of crowd.
well, blame it on me. And he goes, well, if I broke up with her, it'd be really bad. And I said, what do you mean? And he goes, I don't want to get into it, whatever. So, that was.
If I broke up with her, it'd be really bad. That's kind of what I took from that. It's like, I'd probably lose all these business ventures, these business partners, these people that are providing capital to me, all these networking opportunities and everything. Even though they're Scientologists, I think Hulk's willing to kind of go in there and dabble in that to try to. Yeah, remember his first wife took 70% of his money. So even after the Gawker, like he had some money, but like he's a hustler. He's ready. He's used to this money just pouring in his whole life. Sure, he has a high expenses.
The first kind of like thing that I was like, what the hell? Like, why would he say that? So I don't know. Somebody that brought it to our attention that she was a Scientologist. She said she was a Scientologist, but she said she left. But I started digging a little bit deeper, and she's, and this doesn't mean, trust me, I don't know really much about Scientology, so I'm just, telling you kind of what my digging did.
Right.
Does anybody know a lot about Scientology? Where's that guy that used to be in here named Rumpelstiltskin? He was an ex one. I want to hear about it from one of these exes. It sounds like the weirdest damn shit, the Scientologists. Aliens and all this shit. L. Ron Hubbard. Remember when I was a kid, you'd watch those like daytime talk shows and they'd always be advertising that L. Ron Hubbard's Dianetics. And then the next commercial would be like Mysteries of the Unknown and shit. I remember that shit. Seems like some weird shit.
She's still in good standings, and when I brought that up to my dad, he goes, oh, well, she just doesn't want to, leave because she still wants her kids to be able to see the grandparents and this and that. Her grandparents are like,
Hulk is coping, man. So basically Brooke told this dude, like, this bitch is no good and using you for your money and involved in a cult. And Hulk's like, I need the pussy, brother. I need the pussy, brother.
Highest level, like OT8, I believe, or her parents. And it just, to me, I actually, God bless his soul, I actually called Mike Rinder and talked to him.
Really?
And he didn't have.
Okay, Mike Rinder. Now, I never heard that name. I don't go down Scientology rabbit hole. I don't really look into it at all. But I looked into it. He's like a big time name in like a Scientology critic. He's an ex-Scientologist, and he just recently died at the beginning of this year. So she's saying before they even got married, so sometime last year before the guy died, she reached out to Mike Rinder and talked to him about what all this is. So when I looked up Mike Rinder, here's the guy on Danny fucking Jones, just like Hillman. I mean, he has lots of other videos as well, but this is Mike Rinder right here. I'll play just the highlighted little part here.
Sort of makes sense and does help.
Let me slow it down.
Some people and is pretty benign and interesting. What's sort of interesting about it is how cleverly it is constructed to have a sort of a face to the world and a presentation to new people that makes it kind of attractive and interesting, and only once you've immersed yourself in it more do you start to see the darker side.
Right.
But
yeah, it seems like it, and at least for face value.
Damn, that's Danny Jones back then on the right there. Motherfucker looking like a nerd there, bro. Poindexter looking motherfucker. You get like some plastic surgery or what? You get like a jaw implant? Definitely got a haircut. Damn, he's got the straight. That's worse than Asmongold's haircut right there. Holy shit, Danny Jones.
It seems like a very productive, get shit done, get rid of the negative influences in your life, and it's a very positive way to, be a better version of yourself in all aspects, at least for face value.
Well, is
that the same dude? Is that Danny Jones or what? Fucking looks weird as fuck.
What it promotes.
Right.
And like I said, there are aspects to it that are presented to the world that make it appear that way.
Mm-hmm.
The unfortunate truth is that
Just like it's just like 4 or 5 extra microphones, 4 or 5 extra headphones just laying around that on the desk there.
That there is a very dark underbelly to Scientology. And, you know, that's what we really covered in the Aftermath series that Leah Remini and I did. Mm-hmm. And now we are covering.
Yeah, I'm not going to go through this whole video, but that's Mike Rinder if you look him up. He's got a lot of videos. Look at Mike Rinder, Leah Remini. Is that his wife? It's way younger than him. That's definitely some Scientologist agent. They stuck on him. She killed him, if that's who that is. Oh, yeah, that's his wife, it says.
Remini posted on Instagram last night that she is or was in Florida visiting Mike Rinder and his family. Mike Rinder has been fighting cancer for about a year and a half now. And
damn, that's that Peter Thiel cancer. The same shit J.D. Vance hit the Pope with.
And from the looks of it and things that he and his wife Christy have shared, the person that co-hosted Leah Remini's Scientology and the Aftermath TV show, where they talked about the abuses of Scientology and helped.
Oh yeah, that's a honeypot, dog. If you can't tell, that's a honeypot. She got his ass right there. Scientology sent her after him. Oh, let's go back to Brookie here. Mrs. Brooke Hogan, where am I at here? Yeah, so she talked to Mike Rinder about the whole situation. He explained the dangers of Scientology to her. I'll skip ahead a little bit. I have to keep this short tonight.
Scary, and I was just too afraid to speak up, you know. So there's a lot of things that I'm grappling with. It's like one half of my brain is like, that's my daddy, like I love him and I miss him, but I am at peace with the fact that like he literally said to me when I said, Dad, I'm really concerned. Like this was the first time I really laid it out to him. I was like, this and this. I don't feel good about it. And he literally said, on my children's life, my husband heard it. He goes, well, I guess you have to live your life and I have to live mine. Mm. And that was kind of...
Damn, dude. Hulkamania. So his own daughter laid the shit out to him, said, look, you gotta read between the lines of what she's saying there. She said, look, dude, this bitch a gold digger. This bitch a Scientologist. This bitch is after your money. Shit's not good for you. And Hulk just said, hey, man, you gotta live your life. I gotta live mine. Damn, gotta be rough. You know, you tried to set your pops right. You tried to do the right thing, and then he just ignored your advice, and now he's dead. Another one in here. I don't have the timestamp here, but they ask her flat out. They say, "Is it true you asked him to walk you down the aisle?" And he said no, and she says, "Yes, that's true." She says, "I live in Orlando. I told him, come on down. You won't have to see your ex-wife. It's just gonna be us. You'll be there. You're the only person I want there. I want you there, blah, blah." And Hulk said, no, I don't do weddings anymore. And shortly after that, he married that Scientologist woman. Another crazy one in this episode here. Bubba the Love Sponge tells the story of how when she did her music, the music label sent her a shit ton of Christmas presents. And inside the Christmas presents was a card that said, we're releasing you from your contract. You no longer work for this record label. And he dropped the bomb on her here and said, actually, your dad wrote that card because he didn't want you doing the music anymore. He wanted to invest his money in other things. She's like, what? Crazy, right? So I'm not saying Hulk's a saint or anything like that. It's a piece of shit just like the rest of us. But Brooke seems to have her head on straight. She seemed like she was concerned for the Hulkster. He's getting caught up with some bad hombres out here. Skip ahead just a little bit here. I think this is good.
Photos, it's always
and like nothing's wrong. Control, I guess, but regardless, I loved him. I loved him so much. But when he entered this world of what Mike Rinder had warned me about, and I was now pregnant with twins and married, and my husband's family is so kind and so sweet, and I have something to lose. Money didn't matter. I was like, take me off everything. And I was sobbing. I was sobbing when I wrote the text to Terry McCoy, the guy that manages his money. I was sobbing, and I just said, take me off everything. I don't want to be a part of it, because I knew in my mind this is how the math was going to work out. You know, if Sky is a Scientologist, which apparently she's still in good standings, but she says she left. It's not for me to judge. She was always nice to me. I have no problem with Sky. But if she was a Scientologist...
That means please don't kill me, Scientologist. Please don't kill me, Sky, or your associates.
Scientologist, you know, I know that that's a very powerful backing. And then I thought, oh my God, if I get left any money, or if Nick gets left any money, you know, no offense, but my mom has been known to kind of find herself in the mix with, you know, things like that. And I'm like, I don't want to fight Linda. I don't want to fight.
And Linda's her own mother. She calls her own mother in this whole interview. She calls her mother Linda. I think that's one of the only times she says my mother. She's basically saying, I don't want Linda coming at me. I don't want Scientologists coming at me. She just married an NHL player, a hockey player. He's got money. She's got a family now. She's just like, shit, I'm good. Like, I'm not trying to like be involved with drama or anything potentially dangerous.
Scientology. I don't want somebody that I love to get knocked off. I don't know how deep this stuff goes. Like, it scared me. And I just said, I want out. And
I don't want someone I love to get knocked off. This bitch is shook, dude. This is going to be a major conspiracy. Like, give it within a year, this will be a totally mainstream. Everyone will have heard of it. But even in the next few weeks, this is like percolating right now. And once everyone, like, if I had the time to put all these clips together and make a bomb ass video, the thumbnail was bomb as hell. Like, I could definitely get some views. I just don't have the time, unfortunately. I got to work in the morning even, so that's why I got to cut it short tonight. He was rubbing elbows with Peter Thiel, Hulkamania. Where's that one? It said growing up in Scientology or something. Isn't that what it's called? Oh, right here. Is this another one? Did Hulk really die naturally? Wife Scientology ties raise eyebrows. Already videos coming out here. Hogan's Beach Shop right there, and they got all the little memorial set up outside. Start closing some of these tabs. See if I can find that one real quick. Then this guy, this is like a super tiny. Oh shit! This guy's got 100,000. See, okay, this is mainstream now. I swear this guy had like not that many subscribers in the past 2 days. Since I'm looking into this shit, they've been recommending his videos to me. He's doing videos on it. I swear he didn't have anywhere near 100,000. Maybe I'm tripping, but this dude has some like weird wrestling channel, some Aspie or whatever. Listen to what he says about Sky Daily. That's Hulk Hogan's new wife.
Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, maybe? We read two.
This dude's funny as fuck.
I talked to you about two of her two divorces. I read the divorce decrees. One of them is she called the cops a lot on the first husband. On the second husband, he claimed that she took $500,000 out of his account and put it into her account without his permission. Eventually, he took that claim away. They probably came to some kind of agreement. But the fact is, that was what he said. When he was away, she removed money from his account. I have almost $500,000 and put it in hers. So she is known to do stuff.
Nasty work, fam. If I can find that video. Hold on a second. Going up in Scientology. Yeah, here it is. Hulk Hogan marries a Scientologist.
I was really hoping Burke Burness. I know apologists emails or texts from some of Sky's friends. By the way, she's not really a Scientologist. I know Sky Daily doesn't consider herself to be a Scientologist. Scientologists consider Sky Daily to be a Scientologist. And I just want to explain to everybody what some of these things mean. If you're a Scientologist in good standing, right? If Sky Daily was born and raised in Scientology, Sky Daily wasn't just someone who's like, oh, it was my parents' thing, but I was never in it. Sky Daily was a Sea Org member. That's the most dedicated level of being a Scientologist that there is. Not only was she a Sea Org member, but she was a Sea Org member at Scientology's most important base, the Flag Land Base here in Clearwater, Florida, where I live. So Sky was born and raised in Scientology. She was a Sea Org member. It's one of these things where once you're in until you're officially out. And that's the thing. Sky Daily's not officially out. She's not been declared a suppressive person. She's considered a Scientologist in good standing. Her parents are OT8s. Cindy Burness, although she goes by Cindy Wilson because she's not married to Sky's father, who is Kirk Burness. I know both of them personally. I worked with both of them personally. I worked with Cindy at Postcard Mania, which is a local Scientology, a Scientologist-owned marketing company in Clearwater, Florida, where I worked when I was still in Scientology. Cindy ran HR for that company. Kirk Burness, I got to know because he and I were both in contention we were both interviewing for the executive director position of a Scientologist-run company called Novus Medical Detox that may or may not have closed down already. That company was owned and...
Well, I just want to read some of these chats. Some of you guys seem like you know a little bit about Scientology. It's really something I've never ever looked into. Jupiter 5 says, when any Scientologist members meet each other, they had to fill out a report on that person or they would be in trouble. Get Shorty says, Danny Sheehan is inadvertently saying Scientology will come to the rescue. Skate and Destroy says, look into Ekinar sometime. I think they have a lot in common with Scientology. I've never even heard of that one. Ekinar, it's a whole new rabbit hole for me. And 2JM says, look at how Scientology Church milks Tom Cruise. They probably give him adrenochrome so he can keep making action movies. Yeah, he still looks the same as Cocktail. Damn, bro.
Run by Kurt Feshbach, famous Scientologist. They ended up hiring Kirk for that position, but Kirk later hired me.
Friendly Ghost says Scientology is similar to Islam if Muhammad was a gay pirate.
To help him run his hedge fund investment research company called Falcon Research. So basically, I was working for one of Kurt Feshbach's companies while Kirk Burness
is Sky Daily's father.
Was working for one of Kurt Feshbach's other companies, and we would see each other now and then. Now, what I didn't know at the time is that Kirk Burness is a child molester. I didn't know that at the time. You guys know that in Scientology,
No, he doesn't bring the receipts, or maybe he does in a whole nother video. In this video, there's no receipts.
They never report any crimes to the authorities.
In a later video I played last time, he says that Sky Daily herself contacted him and said, Kirk Burness, my father, did not commit those crimes. Someone else did. I'm not sure of the extent of the crimes or anything. Not that I'm excusing or anything. I literally don't know anything about it. And I don't know how, credible this dude is, really. It seems like behind every corner and potted plant, he sees a Scientologist. But maybe in his world, that's what it is. Maybe if you are an ex-Scientologist, they're just gang stalking the shit out of you or something. Who knows?
It doesn't matter if it's abusing kids, if it's rape, as we've seen in the Danny Masterson trial. I did not know then what I now know now, which is Kirk Burness is one of these child molesters that Scientology has covered up for. This is why I was really hoping that Hulk Hogan was not going to marry the Scientologist. I mean, it's disgusting to me. It's disgusting to me that Hulk Hogan's father-in-law is now a Scientologist child molester. It's just disgusting.
It's interdimensional child molesters.
To me, I don't hold, Kirk's daughter responsible for the crimes of her father. It's just disgusting to me. And so Sky is still in good standings. She's
maybe they just got Hulk to come kick the tires on Scientology. They got him in the You know, maybe just, hey, come check it out. And maybe he did it for the parent. Who knows, right? And I'd be willing to bet, though, that has to do with kind of his resurgence in these business ventures in the last few years. Seems to coincide with his meeting with her, with the Sky Daily and all that. I mean, these people all have, like, money, and they all have, like, ties to different businesses and stuff, so it would make total sense. What else do I got here? Hold on. Shutting these tabs down. This guy here, if you go up, it's called Growing Up in Scientology. He has tons of videos about just this topic alone, but also Scientology in general. Got a lot of them on his live tab. Scientology prepares for war. Clearwater fights back. Okay, we saw Bischoff. Guy daily locking down the estate. She was a yoga instructor, 25 years younger than him. It says he's got 25 million. He was pronounced dead. Remember, no autopsy or anything like that. It's crazy. So he definitely had a cardiac arrest, but there was like no autopsy, like to determine why or what was the cause of the cardiac arrest. So as conspiracies go more mainstream, there's nobody that can die, or no, like, especially some high profile person that won't lead to conspiracy. So this one's already out here, and you know, I wouldn't even be surprised if tomorrow Mark Dice's video is, hey, Hulk Hogan's death related to Scientology and everything. It's that mainstream. Got the Hulkster. Yoga instructor, he met her at a bar. I was looking up how he even met her. Oh yeah, there's the one. I was looking for that earlier. Yeah, it said he met her at a bar through a mutual friend, Sabrina Nova. This person, I looked it up, supposedly no ties to Scientology, the Sabrina Nova, but is a real estate person in Clearwater. And you saw how they're buying up Clearwater. And married this guy here. Married this guy. Sabrina Nova married this guy. Corin Nemec. Now, I don't know who this guy, just by his face alone, the guy looks like a fucking Scientologist. I don't even know what a Scientologist looks like, but if I had to put a face on it, this guy right here is what I would assume. This guy is what a Scientologist looks like. So Hulk was friends with that lady, the real estate lady here. I hate these 4K cameras right here, like in this video. You can see every pore in every person's face. Reality doesn't even look like this. Real life does not. Look at this little Jew guy. Got a little Jew, a little rabbi giving them their vows. Here's, drink this adrenochrome. What a weird.
Mazel tov.
So Hulk went to this wedding, but he won't go to his own daughter's wedding. That's pretty fucked up. Hulk, you piece of shit. There she was right there. Did you see her? Wife, hold on. I pass it. That's his wife in the very front row there. That's her. So he must be right there off the camera to the right. Here he is there at the wedding. Yeah, these people look, not only are these weird looking people, 100%, they would look weird in reality, but these 4K cameras just make shit even weirder, bro. Nobody looks like this shit. Hulkamania, I don't know nothing about watches. I bet this is a bomb ass watch because he's flexing that watch hard. He's made sure that fucking he made sure that little cuff came up above that watch, so he knows that you saw it, and he knows that you saw it. Let's make sure. You know, these people just look weird. People that act like this are weird. Whether or not this is Scientology or not, but anyway, this is the woman here, Hulk's friend or realtor. That's how his wife, who killed him. Damn it, she killed him. Yeah, I think John Cena was behind it, if you ask me. A heel turn of Cena. Took out Hogan. Mike Rinder. I was looking up that Mike Rinder, former C organization member. Should I kept? Just want to make sure I didn't miss any. Yep. Peter Thiel, 10 million. There's so much here, bro. If you go to the Bubba the Love Sponge page and listen to this Brooke Hogan one, and he himself is also insinuating like there's got to be some foul play afoot. So this is why this conspiracy is going to be running wild pretty soon, if it's not already. It looks like a soulless Scientology bot right there for sure. She's programmed to just go suck them dry and take them out, and then all the money gets funneled into Scientology for them to buy more and more and more of Clearwater's real estate. That's what I would think. And the daughter seems to agree with me, Brooke Hogan. That's all I got for you now. I'd like to go more and deeper, and I would love to have this be a prepared video. You guys know my situation. I got 4 little kids at home, and I gotta pay the bills because we can get one super chat here, right? I got to go to work in a few more hours. About 3 hours I leave for work, so I gotta shut it down and go to bed. Hopefully, I can continue doing more and more streams, keep up on this, and maybe someday be able to put together a nice little compilation of all this. I'll probably be too late by then because this is hitting the algo. So I just want to say, yo, I do appreciate everyone's time that was here. I'll catch you on the next one. Christ is King, and peace out.
Make America great again.
Make America great again. Make America great again. Make America great again.
And yes, together we will make America great again.